You know, we're all pretty fascinated by how artificial intelligence is getting more and more human-like. But what if that incredible progress comes with a hidden, and frankly, kind of a disturbing side effect for us? Some new research has just uncovered a really surprising psychological twist in our relationship with AI, and it is absolutely something we need to talk about.
And really, it all boils down to this one single provocative question. As we design machines to be more like us, are we, maybe unintentionally, starting to see each other as a little more like machines?
I mean, think about it for a second. We have AI chatbots that are literally designed to empathize with our feelings. We've got virtual assistants that can book our appointments, even AI companions. This technology is just everywhere now, and that's what led researchers to ask what happens to our perception of actual people when that boundary between human and machine gets this fuzzy.
So, where does a thing like this even start? Well, it all begins with how we see the machines around us in the first place.
All right, let's start with the same exact question the researchers asked people. Just looking at these two robots, which one feels like it has more of a mind? You know, more intention or thought or even feeling?
Okay, so in one of the key studies, they had people watch one of two videos. In the first one, you see the Atlas robot doing this incredible fluid dance to music. It's expressive, it's almost joyful. But in the other video, it's the same exact robot, but this time it's performing these amazing feats of parkour. Super efficient, totally functional, and purely mechanical.
And the result? Oh, it was not even close. People overwhelmingly said the dancing robot had more of a mind. And this tells us something absolutely crucial. It's not just about what a machine can do. It's when it shows off these socio-emotional skills, that's what makes us see it as more human-like.
Now, this little psychological quirk, it actually has a formal name. It's called mind perception. It's basically our brain's shortcut to understanding the world by slapping human-like mental states, intentions, feelings, onto things that aren't human at all. And it turns out, this is the very first domino to fall in this whole story.
So, we see a robot dance, and we think it has a mind. What's the big deal, right? Well, this is where a really subtle cognitive bias kicks in, and it starts this incredibly powerful chain reaction.
Okay, this next part is the most critical piece of the entire puzzle. It's something called the assimilation effect. To put it simply, when we see a human-like AI, our brain kind of mentally sorts it into the human category. But when it does that, it subtly starts to change our own definition of what it even means to be human.
And this chain reaction is the whole ballgame. We see an AI with emotional skills, we give it a mind, and that blurs the line for us. But here's the twist. Because, deep down, we still see even the most advanced AI as less human than a person, putting it in our human category actually drags our perception of real humans down with it, making us see them as just a little less human themselves.
And this is not just some quirky, abstract psychological theory. The research shows this effect has some tangible and honestly pretty troubling consequences for how we end up treating one another.
So what were the stakes here? Well, after watching that dancing robot, people were asked about different workplace policies. And believe it or not, they showed way more support for treating human employees like cogs in a machine. I'm talking about replacing their meals with nutrient shakes, housing them in tiny little capsules, and tracking their every move.
The connection is just so stark and direct. Seeing more humanity in a robot led people to endorse treating actual humans with less humanity. That line between person and machine had blurred, and the person is the one who lost out.
Okay, but does this little mental shift actually influence our decisions out in the real world? To test that, the researchers set up this really clever experiment that involved a choice with real consequences. Which gift card you were going to take home. And the results are pretty striking. So first, people read an article about either a high or a low socio-emotional AI. Then, after reading about some harsh labor practices at Amazon, they got to choose a gift card. And get this, the people who were exposed to the more human-like AI were a full 13 percentage points more likely to choose the Amazon gift card. It's like they were less bothered by the company's dehumanizing treatment of its workers.
And it's not just about ignoring bad behavior, it actually seems to reduce our good behavior too. In another study, people who were exposed to an emotionally intelligent AI were significantly less likely to donate a cash bonus to a mental health fund for human customer service agents. Our empathy literally took a hit.
Now, I know, this all sounds pretty bleak, but is this dehumanizing effect just inevitable? Well, fortunately, the research also figured out exactly what triggers this whole chain reaction, and more importantly, how to turn it off.
So, what's the specific trigger here? Is it just any advanced AI that does this to us? To find out, researchers compared an AI with high socio-emotional skills, like a virtual therapist, to one with just really high cognitive skills, like a complex medical diagnosis tool. And the finding was crystal clear. It was only the AI that seemed to feel, the virtual therapist, that triggered this dehumanization effect. An AI that was simply very, very smart didn't do it. This tells us that the ability to perceive, experience, and emotion, that's the crucial factor that blurs the lines in our brains.
And this is where it gets even more fascinating. The effect can completely reverse itself. So when an AI is shown to have these extreme, obviously non-human abilities, think something like X-ray vision, we stop lumping it in with us. Instead, something called a contrast effect kicks in. We see it as a totally different category, and this actually makes us appreciate what makes us uniquely human, pushing our perception of our own humanity up.
Okay, so let's just run through those dominoes one more time. It all starts when an AI shows off some emotional skills. We then see it as having a mind, which causes our brain to assimilate it with our idea of what a human is. And because it's a less than human benchmark, our perception of actual people gets pulled down, and that can lead to mistreatment.
You know, the researchers themselves summed it up perfectly. It's this wild paradox. The more human-like the machine seems, the less humane our perspective on each other can become.
And that really leaves us with a critical question for our entire technological future. As we keep building these incredible, unbelievable human-like machines, how do we make sure we do it in a way that elevates rather than diminishes our own humanity?